stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Have you seen the movie yet?
No.
Are you excited to see the movie, then?
I am hugely excited. It's really nothing to do with the other films, but I've been deliberately putting myself away from... I watch things and I know the bits I'm in and so on, but I've got such a feeling about this that I do genuinely want to have the impact that probably you will have when you see it. But because I'm involved, I know that scene or that scene or that scene, whatever. But I am so looking forward to this one because I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch a movie.
Well, the marketing has been so incredible on this film because there hasn't been really any spoilers or anything to give away the film.
Yeah.
So the scenes that you haven't been in, are you excited to see those, and what would you expect in terms of, the visuals?
I know the thinking that's gone into it. I know the enthusiasm on the set from every single person involved. This juvenile, childlike enthusiasm from JJ with his huge energy and his love for everybody on the set was just so enthusing that I know, especially with the addition of the new cast of Daisy and John and all the others, this is going to be something special. Because it is it's not come out of nowhere. We've been 40 years coming to this build-up, and I think that's why people are very excited. It's not the culmination. It is a reinvigoration of it, if you will. It's almost a new beginning from a point that people have had time to think about it all. People have had time to create another generation of fans, 3 generations now.
A question that I have about C-3PO as a character and as a performer, he's such an integral part over 40 years of this franchise. Why is it still important to play the character in costume on the set?
As opposed to being a CG character or whatever. JJ asked me if I would prefer if somebody else was in the costume, and I said no. And he said, quite right. But I said I would like a new costume. And he said, quite right. So they did actually, it looks exactly the same, apart from the red arm. Don't ask.
I won't.
3PO is one of the threads that lets you know you're in a Star Wars movie. George used to say, because I always arrive in the full rig for the first time on set, so the crew all get the impact, and it is quite a wow factor for them. And George always said, Star Wars has arrived. Because, this iconic figure, not this, but this, around the world, and if he's in a scene, if he's in something, it's a Star Wars thing, and it's real.
The first time you put on the suit back in the 70s, what were your feelings towards that, and how has the suit changed over the years?
I remember very, very well the first time I wore the whole costume for I think I'd worn it for a couple of minutes in England. Then it had to be shipped out to Tatooine, a long way. And it wasn't a great experience. It didn't kind of work. There were lots of rough edges. I was kind of sliced around a bit. The first day, I will tell you, I was in tears by the end of the day. I wore it for the whole day.
And it was 30-odd pounds? And
about 60, I think.
60?
Which by the end of the day wears you down.
Well, in the hot weather as well.
Often it was cold in the desert. You've been reading the wrong papers again. In England, it was the hottest summer in history. So it wasn't a great shoot. But it changed over the years, the experience of the costume. And now it's never going to be comfortable. I envied Mark Hamill all the time in his floppy clothes. He could just do whatever he wanted. But gradually over the years, the costume has got easier to put on and take off and so on. But always my aim is to keep 3PO, the 3PO that we first met and hopefully got fond of.
Can you talk about maybe a favorite memory that you've had over the years of making these films that's really stuck with you?
I think my favorite, I've got so many favorite memories, but the main one, R2-D2 never spoke. It was totally silent during filming. So when we flew, tiny crew, to Death Valley, on the road to Jabba's palace, 3PO was very frightened about going there, whatever. And I was by myself rehearsing once they set up the camera box and whatever, and walking away saying, Jabba, Lando Calrissian never returned from this awful... And I turned around, there was a kind of beep, 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 and I turned around, and George Lucas was sort of squatting along, running behind me, being R2-D2 for the first time, and indeed the last time. It was such a moment of childish joy and fun.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, and may the Force be with you.
Hey, that's my line. Get off.